Okay, before I start talking about the Timestream map, I want to talk a little bit about time to sort of give the pretext, they call it, to why we're starting with time and why it's laid out in the way that it is. And I think Jose Arguez, Jose Arguez, said that the atmosphere for the body is space, and the atmosphere for the mind is time. And so it's what breaks everything down to us in this artificial, conceptual interpretation system. And the way we organize our mind dictates kind of how we see things, how we understand things, what significance and meaning that we give to things. And so time is either very sort of quickly happening, right now, in the present moment. I'm in time, it's now, or I'm looking a little bit ahead of time at what's happening in the next few minutes. Or perhaps I jump to a few hours from now and who I'm going to see. Maybe look at that a bit, or I look at the whole day and, how am I going to organize my day, or looking at the whole lunar cycle and how am I going to organize that. And then I look at the season and I go, within that season, what am I doing there? And then this is part of a larger year cycle. And how's that connected in? And then there's my lifetime. And sort of hidden within there is timelessness. And so what I just spoke about was 9 cycles of time. I don't know if present moment and timelessness can be called a cycle, but let's say for now they are. Everything's a frequency. So it's the time is differentiating frequencies, and our mind is using each one of these perspectives to assess context differently. The context is really in the present moment, and it changes. It changes according to how you're moving, where you're going, what's in your life. And so the mind, depending upon how it is programmed, is trying to make sense of things, is trying to figure things out, is trying to problem solve, is worrying about the future, is having guilt about the past, and it's moving all over the place, and then it's affecting the feelings in such a way that you're feeling good, you're feeling bad, you're feeling good, you're feeling bad, you're feeling good, you're feeling, and the mind is sort of like they say, a terrible master but a great slave. And every spiritual tradition in some sense is teaching a control of the mind, but in many ways is giving a dogma to the mind, which is a fixed set of beliefs and values organized in a certain way so that you are within the control mechanisms of the said religion. Now, if you don't have a way to understand your religion, if you don't have a way to break down your values and beliefs and compare it to anything else, that means you're stuck in your religion, you're stuck in your worldview. You have a certain perspective that you think is yours, and that is the way the world is, and that your perspective is probably more meaningful and more significant than anyone else's. Well, that isn't quite the way it is it? Each of us has a perspective, and depending upon our, let's say, power or our status, that perspective may have a lot of sway or none at all, depending upon, again, the context and who you are with in that present moment. So the inflow matrix, which is a thinking system, a business thinking system that has values, and these values are connected to the time cycles. The time cycles are the base foundation for the whole thinking system, of looking at 9 different time cycles, and the mind can move between them all but is not evaluating a good or badness to it, or thinking it is some sort of strange religion that you have to run away from. No, this is reality. This is the way things are. This is like we have all agreed in some ways that there is a day, and there is a moon cycle, and there is like there are the seasons, and that the earth goes around in a year, and that you have one lifetime, and that we spend hours together, and within the hours we have these sort of minute by minute changes, and then within that we have the present moment, the present moment, the present moment, the present moment, and then timelessness, perhaps in the present moment. We can stop talking, go silent, go inside. The mind doesn't want to be silent. The mind wants something to do. And if you don't give it something to do that's quite organized in a way that leads you to good actions and conversations and the lifestyle that you want, event to event, getting the rewards you want, you're trapped. You're trapped in that time sequencing programming system called linear time, where dun 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 dun, you're going pretty much the where you came from is where you're going to go, because you're not seeing cyclical development. Did you get that? That's how sneaky this is. So the board I'm about to show you, or the next thing up, is a 2D representation of a multi-D experience. So we have a map. We have something that's on a surface, and it's working with conceptual ideas, and it's working with shapes, and it's working with colors. And we're using our perception to look at it and then to associate layers of conceptual meaning on top of it, which means that all your information is getting organized by this one map, and that's where the simplicity is. And the mind works in layers. The mind loves levels. The mind loves sort of intricacy and complexity and cripe. You got a whole life to live, Spend some time on designing how your mind is organized. Like, that's the problem, is that everything is reflecting back to you this experience, and your mind is your way to make sense of the senses and make sense of the world, and to either think in alignment with how reality is, or be lost in illusion based upon error of assessment. And the world is caught in this incredible juxtaposition of worldviews, of mental interpreting structures, that the different religions are all coming to this focus point of realizing their own insanity. And the younger generation, because now they have the internet, it's a different ball game. It's not like there's one Bible in the whole village and one person's got the Bible and they're telling the truth and nobody can read, and everyone's just hunky-dory about having, a couple grains of rice, while the fat guy in the big castle, gets 100 grains of rice. Yeah, all right. Well, I don't really like that, and whack! Now you like it. Now it's the internet. Now it's, if you say we have democracy, well, let's make democracy. But that's the problem. So that we're not dealing with the facts. We're not dealing with true data. So take a look at this map. I just wanted to give it some significance as to what it is, and then we'll go from there.